This is the first assignment for quiz 8 in the second trimester in Algebra 2B. So you want to read through this list about how to solve radical equations, especially 5 and 6, because sometimes you have extraneous solutions and sometimes you lose roots when the numerator power is even. So as you look at that original equation, for example, on the first one here, you see that that numerator power is even. So as you go to do the solution, your calculator will not tell you that solution, so the negative. So you can raise each side to the 1/2 power or square root. So I always say think reciprocal power. And so your calculator gives you 12, but also negative 12 squared works. So I think on the previous couple of quizzes ago, quiz 4, to be exact, I did not specify that you also need to check that out, although that's not really part of formulas. But if that numerator power is even, you need to for sure check it out. And then extraneous solutions by substituting back in. So let's move up to number 3 here. So you want to try to isolate, the square root or the cube root expression. So dividing each side by -10 is the idea. So this is step number 1 here. And so that makes it 6. So we have x minus 10 to the 1/2 power equals 6. And so we want to square both sides. We're not going to worry about losing a root here because the numerator power is even. So we're going to add 10, and 46 is going to be the answer. So here again, we want to, number 4, when you get to it, you want to isolate the square root of 5x minus 5. On to problem 5. So I'm going to do the odds in this assignment. Here we just have a square root expression equals a square root expression. And so what you want to do is just square both sides and lift off the radicals. So multiply everything through by 6. So we got to do an 88 times 6 here, which is a little bit crazy, but that's okay. So 88 times 6, 528 equals x. So everything got a 6 to eliminate that denominator. So 11x equals 528, and divide by 11, and you get 48. And don't forget to check that in back into both sides to make sure it works, and it does after you come up with the solution. So on to problem 7. Okay, so we want to square both sides to remove, the square root, or think again in terms of, reciprocal power. I always like the reciprocal power. So 110 minus x equals x squared. And then now you have a quadratic. So we want to get everything on one side of this. Okay, so 10 and 11. So x plus 11 times x minus 10 equals 0. So we have -11 and 10 that work. You can just go find those two. The problem is -11 is extraneous. So if you put this in up here, you're not going to get a solution. You can also check this out. And I really recommend on this unit that you check things out on a calculator. So if I subtract the x over, I'll start with 0 there, it will say 10, 0. Oh, whoops. Hold on. So the 1/2. I knew I messed that up because it wasn't saying 0 there. To the 1/2 power minus x. So everything has to be on one side. Now let's go to the table. It will say 0 at 10, but when you go to negative 11, it will not say 0. So that means that at negative 11, it's extraneous. You have to throw that away. So make sure all the time that you are checking for extraneous solutions. So x to the 1/3 equals 64. Please don't put 4. Don't put what it looks like. You need to know the method of solving here. Okay, so this is 262,144. So what that means is the cube root of 262,144 is 64. So 64 times 64 times 64 is that. Okay, so problem 11, you want to isolate the square root. We have that, well, almost. So we want to divide each side by -6. That gives us a 2, like so. And then square both sides. And I have a feeling on this one we're going to get something that doesn't work. So subtract the 4 over. 0, square root of 0. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 times -6 is -12. It does work. So I always check it back in. I thought on that one, we might have had something that did not work. So here again, square both sides, lift off the radicals. So 2x equals 18, and 9 is x. So when 9 goes into both sides, we get the square root of 2, and that is good. So last one here. So square both sides, you're going to get a quadratic again. And a lot of times with quadratics, there's going to be, there could be an extraneous solution. So take everything to one side. So this is, if you factor it like this, meaning x equals 2, that will work. So the square root of 4 is 2. Pretty simple to do. Raise each side to the inverse power. Don't forget to check for extraneous roots, or if you've lost any roots, that's only when the numerator of the power is even in the original problem that you're solving for. So that is the first assignment for quiz 8.